Ajax commits suicide because he feels he has no other option. In the eponymous play, his mind is seen as the tragic element in the story, something that modern readers would find unexpected given the raw, tangible aspects of antiquity. Here is Ajax's lament in lines 395 to 409 of Sophocles' play. Oh, this darkness, this light of mine, the bridging dusk to Hades now most radiant to me. Take me as one of your own, take me. It's now impossible for me to see that aid of the gods or of mortals. But the warrior maiden of Zeus scorns me to ruin. Where can I flee to? What can I hope to find if I stay? Like these sheep slaughtered around me, dull and hunted, if I'm to be destroyed the same, and the entire army with 2 spears would slay me by their hand. And in the Greek, Ios kotos semon phaos, eraboso vaen notaton ho semoi, eleste me hoi ke tora, eleste muute garteon ganos uethamerion, et axios plepen tines onas in anthropon. Lama dios al kimateos al lethriai kiste, poi tisun fugei, poi molon meno, et amen fine philoi toios tamur pelas, morai stagrais prosce methapas te stratos tipaltos an me, keri poneoi. Achilles has passed away, and the Greeks are one step closer to their eventual conquering of Troy. However, the armor of their best hero is a fundamental question for the generals to resolve. Who will receive the fallen Achilles' affects? The question seems obviously to be Ajax. He is explicitly referenced throughout the Iliad as the second of the Greek warriors in greatness, in arete. After Menelaus and Agamemnon instead give the armor to Odysseus, Ajax resolves to kill the 3. But Athena intervenes, and Ajax's mind is maddened to kill the sacrificial sheep and shepherd, as heard in the passage. Here, we hear him crying out in despair as he realizes what he's done. Soon, he'll go to bury the sword given to him by Hector in the forest. But of course, the double meaning here will lead to the tragedy of the play. He plans to bury it in himself, not the ground. On the surface, the notion of suicide seems to be tragic in name only. Isn't the real tragedy that the man who is so great kills himself over pieces of armor? But in order to truly understand the mind of Ajax, we have to take the surface-level idea as a reflection of the deeper truths that the maximalized stakes of epic heroes allow us to condense in these short, life-ending sequences. As the philosopher Leo Strauss summarizes, the problem inherent in the surface of things, and only in the surface of things, is the heart of things. We then turn to this passage to look at the quote-unquote surface of things. The action of fleeing is more than to flee physically. His sadness, taken literally at each step, shows the true extent to which Ajax's life is already over before his coming suicide. As was said, it's now impossible for me to see that aid of the gods or of mortals. Ute garteon genos uthemerion et axios plepen. In this scene, he is singing in monody to Tecmessa, who begs him to stay for the survival of her and their child. But to obey her would be a womanly thing to do, and thus disprove his arete, which is, in this epic world of definitive personae, an impossibility. The quote-unquote aid of the gods has already failed him. He has performed his duty as a brave soldier and been slighted by Athena, who maddened him. What wisdom would there be in betraying his arete yet again by capitulating to them again? Of the mortal men who will later accept his purification by burial of the cursed sword, would it not downplay his glory to accept this? If he's to preserve his arete, it's impossible. The surface matter is the subterraneous imagination that Ajax employs. Later in the play, he will consent to purify himself, but his purification will be in the new truth of his world, that there is no way out without sacrificing his own light, or quote, darkness, this light of mine, skotos emon phaos. Sophocles renders the impossibility of preserving life in a world where the archetype definition of a character is absolute. Ajax will never not be the second best Greek. It will never not have been a slight against his character to deprive him of the rightful inheritance of Achilles' armor. So in this world, his only option is to leave. He must die. His light is thus a darkness. That eventual suicide of his is reflected in this early surface assessment that he makes in Grieving Song. This perspective works so well in the drama for the abrupt deviation it plays when compared to our lives today. For us, the surface level, quote, interpretation of our lives is ever descending and makes it difficult to find what is properly absolute and what we can stand by. And when we do stand by it, it is dangerous and difficult. But to do so is to bring clarity into the world. Ajax's journey was sadly short. And even if the result of that can be a tragic end, the idealization of it, and here, for instance, Odysseus' own admission of the dead man being, quote-unquote, second of the Greeks, and worthy of a burial fit for someone of utmost arete, brings eventual catharsis through resolution on deciding to invest in something. It gives some absolute in life, the boundaries to which we are finally comfortable addressing and defining ourselves. As Odysseus himself says in his speech at 1331, I would not so requite his wrong with wrong as not to own that, save Achilles, he and all the host of Argives had no peer. Unjustly thou wouldst thus dishonor him, for not to him but to the laws of heaven wouldst thou do wrong. And wrong it is to insult a brave man dead, e'en if he be thy foe. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more classical content.